Clinical Nutrition Center in studio. I'm going to kick this on the FM. Please share this out. Let us know if you have any questions, and we're excited to hear from you. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. My name is Gardy, and I have Dr. Aaron Chapa with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center in studio. The Living Well podcast is available on all podcast platforms, so you can go back and listen to this whenever it's convenient. You know, a lot of people have the time to tune in for a little bit. You can always share this out and then go back and listen to the podcast format, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever. Good morning. How you doing?
Man, it's great to be on the show as usual. I'm so excited just to see what God brings to the people today. I know we're here in the smack dab middle of the holidays, and we're all asking the question as fast as we can, so that they don't ask us first. But are you ready for Christmas? And no one is. It comes on us so quick. And I think some of the stresses of the holidays are starting to settle in. I had one lady say that she's already been to 15 Christmas parties. I'm like, I don't think we've actually been. We don't have 15 days in the month yet.
I don't have 15 friends.
I'm just saying.
How'd you find these parties?
How did you do this? And why would you do that to yourself? Mm-hmm. So it's always exciting. The holidays bring just a level of energy that we all got to dig deep for a little bit. But, man, good morning. It's great to be on the show. I'm excited. I do wish the weather would be a little bit like kind of wintry, not dreary. Like it's different. Like it's a difference between cold and versus this dreariness that we've been seeing lately here in Houston.
Right. Is there any advantage to that health-wise, though, that it's not that cold?
No. I mean, frankly, I wish we could go back to
like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
No, before the sun started going down at 5 p.m. Like, that's driving me bonkers. Like, this is the first season where I have felt like the sun going down has changed my, I don't want to say changed my mood, but I think it's changed my mood. I got, I'm gonna have to actually thinking about it. My vitamin D on my last test was perfect. It was right where I wanted, around 75, 85. And I look back and just think to myself, well, it can't be the D, but man, I'm gonna start taking some extra D just in case, because man, I can tell that, and patients too are saying like it's been a hard season to shift, to get that circadian rhythm to balance out. And, this is what, seasonal lows look like, seasonal blues, seasonal depression, whatever the people are going to name it. And, there are ways around it, and it's to have a strong, robust endocrine axis. The stronger, more robust the endocrine axis is, that means your pituitary, your pineal, your thyroid, your adrenals, your gonadal system are all singing off the same sheet of music. When that system is running clean and efficient, your body will perform better during all aspects, all challenges of life, whether it is seasonal, like something that is put upon you, or something that your body is dealing with internally, or just the stress of wherever you're at in the process. So, it could be that with the stresses of that I've been going through, even I do my best to, to stay up with the protocols and programs. And one of the things that, could be happening is maybe I need an extra dose. Sometimes we think just a one a day would be great. If we could just take Megaplex and it's just one dose of goodness a day, and I don't have to worry about any of that. But it's not realistic. We know that feeding the body frequently is a good way to keep the system stable. Continually giving it nourishment. I like eating in windows. Like I stop eating around 7, and then I don't eat again until 8:30, 9 the next morning. And so I get that fasting, phase of life. And it's not maybe the 16-8 model of intermittent fasting, but I mean it's definitely a break in food intake. And so I think incorporating aspects of eating like a king for breakfast or a queen, eating like a prince or a princess for lunch, and eating like a peasant or a beggar for dinner is the way, the model that we ought to flow. And then supplement like crazy, like especially with the endocrine axis. Like people go, well, I'm not really that stressed. I'm doing better. And I'm thinking, yeah, then use this season to heal. Use this season to get ahead so that when the next season of stress comes, because it always does, it's cyclical, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like, where are you at right now on the the holiday stress scale.
So, okay, the one thing that came out to me is like you have to plan, I think your outlets, you have to plan like your meals. Like you mentioned the lady with 15 holiday parties. Those things aren't going to be starting till about 7 o'clock. And
That's
so
right.
you got to eat dinner before, eat something light. And as far as the stress goes, I always try and have my outlet to where I can be able to function. If I didn't have those outlets, I honestly don't know if I would be able to function.
What are some good outlets for you?
For me, it's being active. You know, in my life, as in my adult life, I've played basketball. I've tried, I've done running. I've recently got into jiu-jitsu. I say recently, the past 3 years. It's still the beginning of that journey. Lifting weights. Those are things that I have found that you can't think about. I mean, you can, like running, you can think about everything else that's going on.
Yep.
Yeah. What's cool about jiu-jitsu is that you can't think about, oh my gosh, my Christmas presents. Am I going to have enough money? Is this and this and this? With that, it's just like it's an outlet where it takes my mind completely off of everything.
That's awesome. And is that because it's just so fast-paced? You got somebody that's trying to put you on your back or put you on a grapple hold or some sort of neck choke,
It's fight or flight, and then you learn how to control it to where you're not just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But someone, in theory, could be trying to kill you, and they could. You trust the people that you train with, but they have the ability, if they get you in a position, not to let go, to break your limb or do something like that. So it's almost like a survival thing.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, that definitely puts you in a state where you're not really worried about, the next meal or worried about the next bill or the to-do list that is ever evolving, right? So that is a really neat spot to as an outlet, I think, to completely disconnect and disassociate.
Also, I think I went through a pretty stressful time, with my wife and us having the baby, and there was a bunch of medical stuff, and right now things are kind of like they're settling on the up and they're settling, and we're trying to start to find the groove. So I dealt with a lot of stress this whole year, to be honest. And then right now things are kind of, it can always be worse. And now I have to appreciate the better.
Yeah. And look, that therein lies the point I was saying earlier, is that there's seasons, there's cyclical times in our life where our stresses are running heavier or hotter than normal. And I mean, I would say that our building project the last 3 years, I mean, you talk about, just a journey. I know people have done bigger projects and things like that, but for me, that was that is still an ongoing evolution, a different type of stress now than I had before. Before it was getting to the space. Then it was, once we know we can get there, how do we actually apply the getting there, like actually opening those doors and calling that 322 our new home. And then just the shift in how the flow goes in the office. I mean, there's so many little details that happen, and but you don't expect them to kind of change all aspects of how you used to do. The business shifted, the game changed, and Who Moved My Cheese? You ever heard of that book?
Mm-hmm.
And so
I'm
definitely in a Who Moved My Cheese stage, and I mean I've been listening to this song, that one of my friends gave me, and it is called A Sound Mind, and it's by Melissa Helser. And man, I mean, that is exactly, I think, where I am at the moment, like where I'm just leaning into the sound mind that the Lord gave me, not the spirit of fear or condemnation or anxiety or overwhelm or frustration or agitation, but a sound mind. And I just kind of just keep saying, Les, thank you for the sound mind. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the application, that I can have the courage to implement that and go that direction, and trust, that I'm not alone in the process, and I have a team of people around me that love what we do, and patients that love what we do, and we just keep moving forward one step, trying to make that next right decision, and just trusting that our prayers are being answered. So it's a way. That's kind of one of my other outlets. I think we didn't really talk about is being prayerful.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question that came in, and you touched on this a little bit, and I wonder if this can add to stress if you eat too late. But this is from Sullion. Good morning, Sullion. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to share this out. and then feel free to ask more questions. She said, do you think it matters at what time you stop eating at night?
So, I've read different things. Here's what I know is that your digestive meridian, your electrical system for digestion, is most active in the morning. It is less active in the evening. Your detox pathways, gallbladder pathways, are more active in the evening time and nighttime. And so if we just look at the clock and appreciate the circadian rhythms of the body, that it ebbs and it flows. And there's times when our heart is most active, 11 to 1, and they have proven this time and time again. World records have been broke more times at this hour in the middle afternoon when the sun is straight up overhead. The heart is most active and the body is most athletic. That digestion is most readily potent to receive the big meal first thing in the morning. And so that nighttime meal, that evening, that midnight snack, so to speak, that right before bed snack is something that we know has to, it really needs to be light if you eat it at all. And the more you put yourself into a digestive state going to bed, you're shifting your body's blood flow away from detoxification in the brain into the digestive tract, and your brain takes a bath during the first 2 to 3 hours of sleep. And that 3-hour window, if the brain doesn't get the brain bath that it needs, then the body is not as efficiently ready for the next day. So I'm going to say yes. The bigger the meal you eat in the evening, the more you run the risk of sabotaging sleep, sabotaging detoxification, sabotaging the brain bath for cleansing and or long-term memory storage. And so if you've never done it, you attempt to just cut off all food at 6 p.m. and ride out the rest of the evening, sleep, and the next morning until not like super late, but go 12 hours, go 6 to 6 or 6 to 8, which would be a little bit longer than that. And so you keep, seeing what your body can tolerate in the form of blood sugar stability and stabilization. And let's say that you do cut that 6 p.m. Meal, or you eat that 6 p.m. meal and then you cut food from that point forward. And let's say that you're tossing, you're turning, your body's feeling worse during the night, you feel worse in the morning. That's a sign that your blood sugar's not being managed correctly. And you could simply we use a product called Metabol or CM Core, which is a high-dose berberine product, an alpha-lipoic acid product, or bitter melon product that will stabilize the blood sugar. And people have notoriously told us that when they take this product, they feel like they don't have to eat as much as frequently because they feel good. And so it's a way that you can manage blood sugar without just focusing on curbing an appetite, but underlyingly fixing the pancreas. So if you eat a big meal in the night though, and you feel meat sweats, hot flashes, you feel hot during the night, that's the sign that you definitely ate the wrong meal late at night. The meal was either too big or too rich at night, and the reason you're up tossing and turning, reason you're sweating, the reason you're getting up to pee is an indication that you took energy away from the liver. The liver couldn't do those 1,600 plus pathways that it has to get done, and all of a sudden the body is being woken up, or it's stirring, trying to figure out how to manage its energy. And so, pay attention to I think the answer is pay attention to what you eat in the evening. There's been nights where I was just so hungry I could eat my arm, and some nights I can wave it off and just make myself shut down, drink a little bit of water, a little bit of hot tea, and off to bed I go. But there's also some nights where I just said, give me a shake. I'm going to make me a shake. It's an easy to digest, low glycemic shake. It's got high 95% of the amino acid profile of mother's milk. It's called Inflammaforce. It decreases brain inflammation, blood inflammation, and gut inflammation. So in some respects, I pick a shake that's more detox friendly. So I'm giving my body the tools and resources to de-inflame the blood, brain, and digestive tract, and to support detoxification. So I'm giving the body resources to go do a better job, and I'm getting that blood sugar stability. So in that case, I sleep great, right? So I'm listening to my body. So just pay attention to what you choose to eat or when you choose to stop, and how does it seemingly affect you. And that is the best approach to managing the time for which you're going to eat in the evening.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's like a sliding scale. It's like, I mean, people have different schedules. You talk about, hey, stop eating so many hours before you have to go to bed or whatever your schedule is.
And I'm definitely speaking to the day shifters, right? In that respect, and I have plenty of night shift people, but they have a routine too. So whenever their bedtime is, I mean, I'd have to go kind of play with the numbers, and I sit there and tinker with. I had a lady the other day, she was like completely, like the whole concept of intermittent fasting was just foreign to her. She couldn't understand what I mean by don't eat in a 12-hour block, eat in a 12-hour block. She's like, do I eat one meal? No, I'm like, eat as many meals as you want to eat in that 12-hour window. Eat every hour if you want, whatever. But your goal is to, during your off cycle, that you're done. So if you decided to do, an 8-16 or 16-hour fast with an 8-hour eating window, that means you're packing in your calories during that 8-hour window. And some people go, well, you don't need to be packing in a ton of calories. And I'm like, well, true, but you still need to be eating, right? You don't want to be running 700, 900 calories and expect your body to perform well for you, right? And so and we live in a culture that's so fast-paced that people aren't stopping to eat on a regular basis. They eat one meal in their little 8-hour window, and so basically they're fasting the rest of the time. And I'm like, no, what you want to do is you want to eat small portions inside that window of time that you choose as your eating window, and then you pick your fast. And so for her, she was like, well, my parents want me to go to dinner, there's parties and stuff in the evening. And I'm like, okay, so if that's the choice you're going to make, those are important things, then you build your eating window around your lifestyle. And that's the cool thing about intermittent fasting. So in that case, she still needs to pay attention to how her body feels and what she eats and how her body feels, because she may find that if she eats steak during the evening hours, that she's up all night, tossing, turning, waking up in the morning feeling sluggish. You got to be careful, so maybe you need to eat a lighter protein like a fish or something. And so it's just experimentation and figuring out what your body likes and how it performs on certain fuel sources, and we can help people figure those time frames out and help them figure out what to eat during their eating cycles if they're intermittent fasters. Mm-hmm. But teaching people, gosh, you got to eat. You can't starve yourself. I mean, this is not a starvation diet world, and it's not a world where it's bountiful and plentiful and you can eat all the sugar you want. You've got to pay attention to sugar. You got to pay attention to amounts of sugar that you consume. I don't think a bite's going to hurt you, right? But if you eat, half the pie, well, it might catch up to you.
Yeah. Pie's going to go bad, Dr. Chapa. It's only here in holiday season, right?
You got to indulge. You got to get it. Just know that you got to be detoxing afterwards, speaking of, and that opens up that door for us doing 5-day bowel cleanses, doing 10-day liver cleanses, doing 5-day gallbladder flushes, coming around and getting enrolled in our detox program. These are all things that people want to start thinking about, even though we're pre-holiday, pre-Christmas. Dude, the new year is right around the corner, and we will be thinking about detox. And so we're already promoting and telling people about the detox and excited about what we're doing. And we had a coaches meeting last night for our detox coaches to lead some folks through the program, and we're just excited about seeing what we can do to help people continue to implement detoxification into their already busy world, because taking care of you in a 3-week window of our detox, our ultimate detox experience, is 3 months worth of work in 3 weeks. I mean, that is outstanding. That's the end goal. Cleaning the liver, 1,500 pathways, giving the digestive tract a break from all the stress and stimulants and processed foods that you're getting into in the world is so good. It's so wonderful for your body to do twice a year. 42 days a year of detox is what we teach and promote. And it's these little lifestyle practices that help us navigate what we're up against, through and through. So, people go, well, okay, you said 3 months worth of work in 3 weeks. So you do 3 weeks worth of work, 3 months worth of result, but there's 2 extra quarters of the year I got to deal with. And I'm like, you're right. And that's where you can incorporate just healthy living. That's where you can incorporate the bowel cleanses. That's where you can work on cleaning the blood or, getting inflammation down, us evaluating blood work during those off, season, so we can know kind of like fine-tooth combing what we're focusing on. And then twice a year, we're really hardcore focused on making sure that we're our best. And so, going down the path of wellness is a wonderful journey, and it's ongoing, and it never stops, and it's year to year. And that sometimes is a bummer because we want to take the one and done. We want the one fix all and never have to worry about this crazy thing again. But that's not the way this body is designed. And finding the community, the tribe of people that are already on the road to wellness that Living Well offers and teaches is what we're ultimately after for you guys. So we're excited about detox. We're excited about what you can do in 3 weeks in order to impact the next 3 months so that you're ready for whatever curveballs are thrown at you and you're hitting home runs.
You mentioned that you all had a meeting for the detox leaders and
coaches,
right? So is it going to be like the typical detox 21 day? Because I know y'all kind of switch back and forth where it's like specialized ones as well.
Yeah, so this one's going to be our ultimate detox experience. It's 21 days of fruits and vegetables. The first 10 days are heavy fruits and vegetables and shakes, and then day 11 through 21 is more adding back your chicken, fish, turkey, eggs, and then, but it's more of that low carb style, grain free, processed free, caffeine free, sugar free living for the 21 days. I had a lady yesterday who goes, but I don't want to lose weight. I'm skinny enough as it is. I'm like, well, okay, you don't have to, cut the protein the full 21 days. You can keep protein in, chicken, fish, turkey, eggs. Just keep it in. We'll just take out the pork and the red meat. These are what we call higher digestive energy foods. We're trying to limit digestive energy. So like maybe we'll have 2 animal proteins a day and 2 shakes a day or 1 shake a day in order to keep our calories up. And so the Ultimate Detox Program is a liver, bowel, lymphatic, cardiovascular cleanse. And if we can, get in there and overhaul those tissues and help the tissues detox any excess debris or, sediment, unwanted organisms, heavy metals, heavy chemicals that we're exposed to, and we can get rid of those burdens, the brain turns on and functions like God designed it to. And that is a wonderful, wonderful thing that your body wants, it desires. I mean, I'm just continuously 17 years into this, I'm still shocked at the number of people that need bowel cleansing, that need liver detoxification support. And the more I play with those 2 systems, I literally feel that, yeah, there's going to be times where you got to do a little bit more endocrine work or mineral work. But, man, if you just take care of your liver and you take care of your bowels, you're going to absorb your nutrients better and detox better all throughout the year. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have less symptoms, rashes, headaches, mood swings. You're going to feel more alive and vibrant. When the stress comes, you're going to be more ready for whatever stress is that you either perceived or it just kind of suddenly dropped in your lap, like, oh, yeah, life just changed, moved my cheese. And then when you start utilizing some of our adaptogenic herbals for adrenal or endocrine support, you can keep your sex hormones balanced. You can keep your stress hormones balanced. You can keep your your nervous system balanced so that those neurotransmitters and your gut-brain axis are intact. And we start, modulating, sidestepping, cross-stepping, navigating the landmines that are put before you in that stressful season. And because you did the work, the preemptive work, the detox, but ahead of time, it's so much easier to keep your body in an alignment state. So that's one of the motivators for me is, what do I want my life to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, functionally? How do I want to move and groove? And so am I doing what I need to do right now in order to maximize that? Well, some days it's a yes, some days it's a no. But if 7 out of 10 of my days are on point, then I'm only sliding back 3 steps. I'm still moving forward 4 in the grand scheme. I can still get from point A to point B. So you just got to make sure that you're always pushing that ball up the hill.
Do you do the same thing with your business and just maybe relationships, other things in life? How do you want it to look like the business at the end of 2023 and then kind of work back?
100%. And I have to, lay a lot of that. I like the idea of conceptually, keeping those ideas, those dreams, those ambitions in an open hand, because I have a tendency to grip hard onto something, and then it becomes very addictive, and it can actually be self-sabotage at that point, where I actually will hurt myself trying to attain the goal. When if I keep a loose grip on some of that stuff and trusting that God's got a firm grip on me, He will direct and guide my steps. And so, but yes, I think, planning out how I want my day to look, figuring out how the enemy attacks me and gets to me and pushes my buttons is learned, skills. And then whenever it comes to my business, having the right people on the bus, the right teammates that are pushing you to be better or to challenge you to make the change or to go a different direction. And then, consulting with the Holy Spirit to know if it is indeed what we need to do next. And so there's a lot of factors, but there are relationships and friendships that need to be nurtured, and I don't always have the time to be in all these people's worlds, but I try to make, when I'm with those people, extra special. I try to get into those people's space and make the experience very high, and that way we're always putting good investment into external relationships or business dealings or financial future. But again, trusting that at the end of the day, the Lord sent the disciples out 2 by 2 with nothing, in just faith that the provision would be there, the homes would be there, the welcome mat would be rolled out. And if it wasn't, what did He say to do? Knock the dust off your sandals and keep on going to the next one. And some will, some won't. So what next? And just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that faith walk is where we meet Christ, is in the trenches in the world, and it's not in the comfort zone of the world. And so planning out what you want your future to look like, and even recognizing that you might have made some mistakes in your health over the last 5-10 years. Maybe you did some things to your body that medically has changed where you're at trajectory-wise today, and it's not where you thought you'd be or want to be. And so now you're thinking, you start beating yourself up because you can't get out of it. One and done. It's the way it is. It's going to be like this forever. Instead, find the positive and say to yourself, all right, what can I do, with the circumstance? Where can I go next to just take one more degree of change in a positive direction? And do I have the right people coaching me to help make sure that, 1, I'm accountable to myself, and 2, that I'm getting good counsel on where we want to paint a new vision, where we want to go. And so ultimately, I'm constantly working with folks to get their mindset right, because choosing wellness is an interesting thing, because too often people think that being well means never being sick. And that's not what wellness is. Wellness is how your body handles life and the challenges therein, and illness or dis-ease when it strikes. And so, if I get the flu tomorrow, how does wellness would dictate how well my body handles flu virus? Or if I get a strep infection tomorrow, how well does my body know how to keep that virus, bacteria from literally just being razor blades in my throat? And or if I get a staph infection on my leg, can my body actually heal without antibiotics? And that is wellness, is how does your body respond when dis-ease, bacteria strikes, or burdens come on us that we didn't necessarily plan for. Nobody wakes up and goes, man, I sure wish the flu had hit me today.
Right.
I mean, that's like, no, definitely not on the docket. Who's got time for that? And so when we are burned out and we are assessing the stresses of life, and we are assessing like where our body is in recovery, and how are we sleeping, we can take a step back and say to ourselves, okay, I'm doing what I know is right, and my body's been performing well, and I don't know, everybody's sick around me. I think I'm doing well. Then you come in for a checkup, and we look at your basal, metabolic temperature. We look at your zinc levels. We look at your calcium, magnesium levels. We just listen for deficiencies, and if you're passing all the tests, exciting for you. Then you look at your stress scale, and you go, man, my stress is like at a 4 right now. My energy's up. My mental clarity's up. I'm feeling creative. My gusto is where it needs to be. The vim, vigor, and vip, that's what we're after. Vitality. But if you aren't in those places and you feel like your stress is so high that you're about to pop and explode, you need intervention. We can help. If your mental clarity, I had a gal last night come in. She checked up for aluminum and arsenic, of all things, and I think her body's purging some old metal that we've been working on breaking loose, that's caused her digestive tract to be heavily inflamed, her liver to be backed up, and it's settled, and I think it has been settling in her brain tissue, and she can feel her brain not well. And she, since we've been on this protocol, she goes, I think that my brain is turning on. I feel like my body is actually responding. But we had to pull those burdens off the nervous system so that the nervous system could flow and function like it was supposed to. But she had to make dietary changes. She's got to make sure her water intake's up, make sure she's managing the stress, and then what she can't manage, she's supplementing, with nutrients, herbs, to help manage the stressful, responses to her environmental stimuli that are pushing her over the edge. And so recognizing the tools and that she has a part to play is step one. And the same with you. If you got symptom patterns you were not genetically born with, you have a part to play. And so what part will you play in the overall grand scheme of your health picture of the next 10 years, 20 years? Because, the more close I come to 50 years old, I'm only 43, and I know I've got a long way to go, but that in cases, my point is 7 years is still, it's going to go by fast, and I get all that, but 7 years is 7 years. That's 7 years. What am I going to do with myself over the next 7 years to make sure that my 7-year-old older self is firing on all 8 cylinders? I want to be as strong and vibrant as possible all the days of my life, fully functional in spirit, mind, and body till I'm 125. I tell people that all the time. And they go, you're crazy. And I'm like, maybe, but, what if I could get to know my family line better? What if I could be cognizantly present with them and be, in good spirits as an old geezer? That would be cool to me. That's what I would want, is to be fully functional in spirit, mind, and body, that my body would perform in a way. And yes, it might be a little bit lonely, but who knows? What if I could create adventure for my older self today by starting a wellness plan today, right? Just the whole mindset of our favorite analogy. What is it? The oak tree. When's the best time to plant that oak tree, Gardy?
30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yes. But if you didn't, when's the next best time?
Today, right now.
Today. Today is your day. And so, we keep on trucking, we keep on moving forward, and there's no condemnation for those that are in Christ. There's no condemnation that we need to accept as a lie that's trying to, deviate our eyes from where they need to be fixed. And we can say, what can I do today to make 1 degree of change? What can I change in my diet today? What can I change in my supplement regime? What can I do this, year to finish out the year. Maybe you do a bowel cleanse or a 10-day, blood sugar reset. I mean, there's so many cool things you still got time to do. Oh, I got, 15 parties. Okay, all the more reason that we need to be doing something in the, 14, 15 hours of your day that you're not at that party. If you've got a lot of partying coming up, we need to make sure that your before party and after party, plan is in place. We will help build you a pre-plan, post-plan, so that you can indulge for the 12 days of Christmas, right?
Yes. I'm not that good at math, but I was kind of trying to calculate it in my head roughly. But if you live, when you live to be 125 years old, I mean, you may see the year 2100. How about that?
That would be amazing.
Be pretty cool.
I mean, that would mean gosh, that would be crazy. Yeah, so it would be 3 centuries, I guess, that I'd have an opportunity to live in.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of neat. And when you think of it that way, that's a long time. And so there's a lot that I get to learn. There's a lot that I get to experience. There's a lot of adventure. And so that in and of itself takes a mindset to start planning out. What adventures do I want to take? What challenges am I willing to climb today at this phase of life so that I can handle the next phase? Because all aspects of life is change. And so change is inevitable. Change is happening. Are we willing to walk in the change and walk out the change? And I think the more our nervous system is healthy, the more and well-adjusted, the more our body chemistry is balanced and detoxed and cleaned out and functional, digestively speaking, liver detox-wise, lymphatically congested-wise. If we can keep those burdens down and the open channels flowing, your ability to manage the curveballs of life, the challenges of the unexpected, those times whenever we're exposed to foreign bodies, foreign pathogens that we don't want to be exposed to, we have an opportunity to make the course corrective change right now. If we just start recognizing that, man, we do have lots of time. I think that's the deceptive lie, that you're out of time. You got to get it done today. And wellness is a forever game. It is a long-term pitch. It is a continuous discipline of choosing one more degree of change, one more bite of healthy living today than you had, one more healthy drink of water today. Oh, I hate water. Okay, well, we need to fix that, because you can't be healthy if you're just sucking down stimulants. You've got to be mindful of what you're putting in your system. What you eat's important, but what you don't eat is so much more important from an inflammation perspective. And so if you have a health challenge today, I talked to a gentleman the other day, and guys, I talked to a lot of people about a lot of different things. Everything down to we're helping a family with a 31-week preemie baby, born at 31 weeks or 33 weeks right now. And it's been really fun to help that baby with colic and digestive challenges, constipation, of course, and see that baby respond to the therapy that we put in. I had a gentleman yesterday that has a pacemaker, and he was out of town and was in high altitude and potentially stressed about this, that, or the other, maybe indulged in some, delicious processed food or drink, and boom, had a heart attack, and boom, life changed for him. And so we have to be careful that, if we do have diagnosed conditions, or if we have health challenges already present, that you may have to change your way of living today, now. There is no, excuse for bad choices when you already are on the fringe and you've already had close calls with death. And I think those are wake-up calls to say, the Lord is sending you your life raft and giving you a second chance, third chance, or fourth chance, depending on, where you're at in the grand scheme. And, I think having something to live for, being thankful, the attitude of gratitude, those are some of the mindset things. What are you focused on? Are you focused on the wall? The metaphoric wall that race cars say, if you focus on the wall, you're going to hit the wall. When you're out of control, find the horizon, find the road. And gymnasts will say, your eyes find the ground, your feet will too. And so don't close your eyes. Don't focus on the wall. Focus on where you want to go. What did Wayne Gretzky say? Is he said, I don't go where the puck is. I go where the puck is going. And that dude took he set records for the most shots scored in a career, but he also will be the guy that said they didn't say I missed as many world record shots as I made, but I took the shot and I got to the puck where it was knowing where it was going, so that I was in a opportunity to make sure that my future was bright. And so I'm sitting here preaching to myself and encouraging myself and what I'm saying, because life is not always seemingly clear, but that faith walk is definitely for every one of us to go and experience and trust and build a relationship with the Lord and know that He's always there for us. He's always going to, provide for us and provide us opportunities and relationships that are going to kick us in the pants or pull us up or give us a hand up, as opposed to just waiting, on the sideline for a handout. I don't want a handout. I want a hand up so I can grow. And I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I mean, these are literally all the things that are floating through my head whenever I'm going through tough times and challenges, is reorienting my position so that I can, help patients when they show up, so that my mindset is not on the wall of my own demise, but on the patient and giving them hope for a brighter, better future. And if I can stay in that space, if I can keep my endocrine axis strong, my pituitary, my thyroid, my adrenals, my gonadal system strong, all of a sudden my vim, vigor, and my potency for life and helping people return back to the roots of vitality, help them get back on track and start producing fruit again. And that is wellness. That is exciting times and an opportunity to see miracles day in and day out. And I take a step back and hear some of the stories of success of people that have, broken the chains of dis-ease from diagnosed disease into a wellness state, and they're living, past what the doctors predicted. They're able to do abundantly more than they thought they could do at the time that they've been given. And continuously, I'm amazed at what the body will tolerate and put up with, and the changes that we can make and see the result come. They're miracles, and I get to see them each and every day, and that stuff keeps me in a place of thankfulness and gratitude to do it again tomorrow and do it again the next day and see how I can, help sidestep, cross-step, navigate the landmines of life, so to speak, because, that's the hero's journey, I guess,
Yes, you mentioned it's amazing what our body's capable of. Do you think that, I think eating, or somebody who says, like, I hate water, or like, I can't eat that, it's disgusting. I mean, a lot of the work needs to be done up here.
Yeah. And so obviously there's some things we can do, like we can use Ultima drinks, we could use teas, we could use lemon in water or orange in water, or we could try different ways to change some of the taste. But if a person truly despises water, they have a disrupted mineral balance. That's an indicator that they are out of sorts biochemically. And their ability to overcome texture, their ability to overcome taste is definitely psychological, but it's also biochemical. If you can help support the biochemical space, I have seen addictions break, and people that said they're addicted to nicotine, caffeine, drugs, alcohol, whatever, their behaviors, even the psychological, addictions like pornography or just self-mutilation, whatever the thing is that they're addicted to. I've seen that by supporting the biochemistry and getting the insides stable and balanced, and that the body will literally break the addiction, and it'll turn on. And when it turns on, it's like they walked out of a fog and they're able to function at a level that is more of a productive, fruitful space in life. And so, I think that continuously recognizing the psychological piece, the emotional piece, biochemical piece, the structural piece, and that putting all that together builds the watch. And what have we always said about the watch? What part of the watch tells time?
It's all of it.
It's all of it. It is not a single part that does the work. It's all of it working synergistically together in order to maximize. So I think, the structural side of us is our moving and grooving side. Our biochemical side is our food and drink. And if you find that you can't eat certain things because texture, it's not good. I mean, I ate some mushrooms last night, and I'm thinking to myself, I really don't like mushrooms. I just don't like the bitter taste of it.
How did you eat them?
And they were just like baked in olive oil.
Okay.
And they were okay, but they're just not my favorite. And I should have put more of my salt on there. I should have put maybe some parsley on there. I should have put some garlic powder on there. I had some other ways I could have done it. I just didn't. And you can use spices to overcome the bitterness. You can change the size. So maybe instead of having just this big old lump mushroom that I'm biting into, because one, it's just ugly. Sometimes pretty food tastes better than ugly food.
Well, that's a big part of the presentation. That's why people will pay more to go to a restaurant, the presentation.
Sure enough. Ellie, right now, 6 years old, going through the phase where she goes, bell peppers are sweet. I like these. Sweet orange peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers. She goes, I thought peppers were spicy. I said, jalapeno peppers are spicy. Ghost peppers are really hot and spicy. Serrano peppers are really hot and spicy. I said, so some of them are for sure going to be spicy. Bell peppers, however, different species of the same pepper family can just have a completely different taste. And she goes, and they're good for your heart. And I'm like, right, that's good, babe. and so, she's experimenting with different foods. And of course, she, just like any kid that has been exposed to sugar, I mean, you really have to train their palate to appreciate the lack of party in your mouth, if you will, with a veggie versus some of the processed sugars that they get into, because those processed sugars are designed chemically to taste a certain way. And so if you're eating foods that are only based on pleasure in your mouth and that sensation of chocolate wonder, that sweet bliss, recognize that could be very much inflaming your body and setting you up for long-term failure if that's all you're relying on is a measure of fuel source. We've got to get you eating real nourishing foods. So like me sticking those mushrooms in, it's just me working towards me evolving a palate to appreciate it. And as much as I feel like it's evolved, mushrooms, they're just not there yet. Well, does it mean I'll never eat another mushroom? No, it might be a little while because it really was bitter. I mean, it just really was. Maybe it was a bad mushroom. I don't know.
Tastes earthy.
It was so earthy that I was like, I don't want to do that.
I love mushrooms.
And do you really? How do you like cooking them?
Maybe
on
I pizza.
See, I can do that.
No, even if I go to a salad bar, Jason's Deli. In the past, when I've done the detox, Jason's Deli has an amazing salad bar, and they have mushrooms.
Those sliced mushrooms.
Yeah, and I'll eat that on a salad. I like them like that. I could just pop them like that.
Yeah. So I think maybe if I stuck some in guacamole, I could be okay with it. If I, maybe dipped it in like a broth of sorts or like a garlic butter, a garlic salt butter would probably be pretty good. As I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh, that's how I could do it. So just us sitting here just chatting about it and throwing it out there makes it kind of a difference.
Yeah, and here's Andrea. She said stuffed mushrooms. I like stuffed mushrooms.
Well, but what are you stuffing them with?
Sometimes not the good stuff.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that before. It'll be stuffed with like some like Parmesan or whatever, just different things like that.
So you could totally make I'm sure you could use all the same pizza-y type spices to make it like a smell aroma-wise, get the smell right, and then the presentation right, and bada bing, bada boom.
I'll saute them. Whenever I've done vegetables on the detox as well, I get a big old thing of mushrooms, and I just put them in there, and I let them soften up.
They are good for you, so I can't argue that they don't have a value for sure.
And hummus?
And well, see, there you go. That's like the, bean dip and mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yum. That's funny. So what is your favorite vegetable that if you're gravitating to often in a week?
I haven't eaten them in a while, but now that we've been talking about them, mushrooms may be my favorite vegetable.
No way. way.
It may be.
Wow. Okay.
My wife hates them.
Well,
And maybe that's a part because if I'm cooking or we're cooking and it's something for both of us, it's like I have to make two separate. Can't use the same pan because it may taste like mushrooms.
So she's like completely like deters or detest them. See, that's interesting. And and I always try to get my family just to try it, and they're like, and you can see they're looking there. I like, I don't want that at all.
Right.
And I'm like, look, 17 exposures to the palate. Little Johnny will like his veggies or his food of sorts. You've got to be willing to put it back out there and try again. And even if it's a bite, even if it's a half, I mean, and when you bite into it, you have to ask those questions. What do you like? What do you not like? And, how could you potentially make it better? And I think, talking it out with friends, and this is again going to our detox program, why we hope that people will, enroll themselves in the group, paid version of our detox plan, because it's the group experience sets the stage. The group experience is every bit worth, the journey, because that's where you learn the recipes. That's where you go, I don't like these foods. And somebody goes, oh, have you tried them this way? Have you tried them that way? And people, take a step back and go, I haven't done that. I should. And I think that ultimately, if we get around people that like certain foods, I'm thinking, so Gardy, what is it that you like about mushrooms?
I like the reason I started liking them, and as a kid, and I guess I've always been this way. I like to try different things that I haven't tried before, or people are like, "That's disgusting." I'm like, "Oh, is it really? Let me try it," and be like, "It's not that bad." So it was the same thing like with hot sauce. Like as a kid, I want to eat the hot sauce, or like the mushrooms. As a kid, I want to try the mushrooms. I'm still that way about certain things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, my grandpa always taught me that like it's 30 seconds of pleasure or it's 30 seconds of misery. It's not going to hurt you. And at the end of the day, if the health benefits outweigh the 30 seconds, would it be worth it to you to get the health benefits of some of these foods, Brussels sprouts or, asparagus and things like this? So, you've got to be opening up the palate. Like my mainstays really are Brussels and asparagus. I love them. Now, do I eat bean sprouts? Do I eat squash? Do I eat onions? Heck yeah. Do I put some, pickled garlic on stuff or raw garlic on stuff? Yeah, absolutely. And so, going down that trail and, spicing things up with herbs really does kind of change the twang and the flavor, the savoriness of the meal that I'm consuming. But, it's that continuously willing to, like you said, try something, even if you don't particularly like it. Man, what if the benefits outweigh the little bit of displeasure it is to get used to eating it.
Yeah.
But you've got to ask those questions. What do you like? What don't you like? And what can you do to spice it up in a way that makes it taste better? Because there is a way. And because most vegetables take on the flavor of whatever spices you use. And so, in your wife's case, maybe we got to dice them, get them nice and small so that she's not eating this big, ugly, kind of earthy looking mushroom.
She would be so mad if I just snuck them in something. She would. Is there mushrooms in this? Be like,
No, I promise. I remember one time I took spinach and cooked it, and then I put it in my Vitamix. I blended it into a liquid, and then I poured it into the marinara sauce and the turkey, and it was still red. Because the green just disappeared in the red sauce, and the kids had no idea that they were eating, spaghetti and spinach marinara. And I mean, it didn't because the marinaras a lot of times, I mean, even the organic ones, I mean, they still have a lot of spices and stuff in it that they just taste a certain way. And there's something to this idea that everything green and veggie-like is disgusting.
Right.
And so outperforming the eye, the presentation, the smell staying consistent, they were like, this is neurologically the same thing I always eat, not realizing that we pulled the wool over their eyes.
Yeah, here's another one, dried mushrooms. That's from Andrea, a suggestion, I guess. I'll eat those, or pickled mushrooms.
I've eaten a lot of pickled things. I don't know if I've ever had pickled mushrooms.
I like them.
I might have to look into that.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'm certain that I've never had dried mushrooms. That might change the game, because then you could use it as a dipper in a guacamole, or a dipper in hummus, or a salsa of sorts.
You've been to Saltgrass before?
Yeah.
They'll offer a side of mushrooms in the little skillet that come out like sautéed, and to me they're delicious.
Really?
Yeah.
It comes like with steaks and stuff?
Well, it's not even like on the side. It's like, hey, could I get a side of mushrooms? I've done this in the detox as well, and they're like, yeah, sure. And they bring it out on this hot little skillet, and it's just
a bunch of little mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms is very hot, like sautéed, and I don't even think it's onions. It's just mushrooms.
Wow, well, I'll have to look into that. I do like saltgrass. I've never tried that.
Tell them Gardy sent you.
Yeah, I will.
They have no idea who I am.
Yeah. But still, we're gonna go there. Well, as we're coming to a close, I just want to remind everybody that the detox season is upon us. Keep your eyes peeled for upcoming news, and plan ahead. Let's go ahead and get you registered. Let's save you a seat. Our theme is driving into detox 2023. We want you to get on the your favorite car. There's definitely some cool cars coming as a themed event and team to be on. And so we're just going to drive into a healthier version of you, man. We're going to find what we need to do to make sure that we kick the tires and light the fire, so that you're burning rubber right out the gate and you're not messing around. You're going to get that 3 months handled in 3 weeks. And we're excited that you guys always trust us, love us, and allow us to be a part of your wellness team. At Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition drives it. Nutrition helps you get to point A to point B in the best possible version of you. If you choose wisely, you will feel better more often than you won't. And you can rest assured that anything your body is developing in the negative, you can undevelop it and get things back on track. And you just need a coach. You just need guidance. And so at Living Well, we want to be your number one health and wellness resource. And we just pray that you have a blessed and wonderful Christmas. And as usual, we'll see you this time next week. God bless all.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.